Welcome back to another video. So I have a guide I want to do for those of you who haven't really tackled Nulgath farming. As of the filming of this video, Nulgath farming is the endgame content of AQ3D, but there is a lot of players out there that is not partaking of this endgame farm, and the reason why is because getting into it is very complicated. You don't really know where to start, what to farm, how to farm, what pets to get. There's so many questions that come with this. Due to the length of grinding involved, you do burn out after a while, which is what happened to me. But in this video, I want to showcase two methods of farming that I've been using over the last week. I'm also going to showcase which Nulgath pets to get and in what order. So if you guys enjoyed this one, do me a favor and tap that like button, smash the subscribe if you haven't already, and turn the notifications so you don't miss any of my uploads. I really appreciate the support all of you guys have given me, especially my Raven Squad members. If you guys are interested in joining the Raven Squad, tap that join button down below. And without further ado, let's get started. First and foremost, we're going to head to Babylon Town Square. And the reason why is I wanted to mention a pet that I own that is almost a necessity to Nulgath farming. So in the Nulgath Collection 2, you're going to find the Crag in the Pet. Now you need to own the Crag in the Pet collection in order to have this. You can't just purchase this individual. At least this is the way that it had been. I don't know if it's changed since the original release, but in order to actually use this as a quest pet, you needed to own the entire collection. Again, this might have changed, but as far as I know, that is the way that it was designed. And this pet gives you access to the Wasteland quests on the go. So basically, everything involving Crag and Bamboozle. Another bonus of this is you get access to Gaz's quests and shop as well. So if you're needing your vouchers, you can get them right there. Another pet that comes in handy is the Skew pet. This thing comes in really handy. You just interact with this guy, and at the bottom you've got the Skew Quest pet. This is another one that costs dragon crystals, but it does come in really handy having access to it. Just wanted to mention those because they are pets that really do come in handy. However, they are not required in order to do the methods I'll be showing you in this video, though they do help. Additional pets that are going to come in handy is all of these pets right here. These pets will come in handy for farming as well, and these things you do not need to pay any money for. I'll go over locations and whatnot in a minute, but before I get to that, I wanted to mention the first method. So you'd be going into your adventures menu and down to Fiend Lands, and then you'd be going to the Red Monastery. Now, if this is not available, you need to play through the story until you're going to have access to this. This is something that's going to require having a group. You can do this individually, but it's way more work. This is definitely something you want to do with a group. I'm going to post on how you can obtain a group, or at least an easier way of getting groups to help you farm and stuff later in the video as well, so make sure to stick around for that. You'd be going into this room right here, the Crypts of Misery. And in this location, you're going to be going to the right here. However, if you don't have access to do this, you're going to need to play through this dungeon and the story part in order to get access to this. Once you've unlocked it, this is the quick way to get to the Fiend Chamber. And the Fiend Chamber will give you access to Mandible. And this is the guy you're going to want to take down. If I can click on him, there he is. Right there, Mandible. And the reason why is you can complete all kinds of quests with this guy, and the more quest pets you have, the more you have an opportunity of turning things in and getting rewards. I'll show you which quests you're going to want to have equipped when farming this thing, but like I said, you don't need the pet. You can do this without, but you are going to want a team or other people here in order to make this much faster. As I mentioned, I will explain how you can get a team. It's not a surefire method, but it's a much better way of obtaining a team. So when you're farming this, you're going to be heading to the wasteland if you don't have the pet. Talk to Bamboozle, and in Shady Deals, there's several quests in here you're going to want to have. The first of which is Catacomb Crawling. In here, you're going to need the Uni 13, which can drop from Mandible, so make sure to grab this quest. The next quest is Lucky Deal. Make sure to grab this one as well. You're going to find a Uni 13, and you can grab that. The next quest is Fiend Hunting. Make sure to grab that. You're going to need to kill Mandible, and you can turn this. This one is more frequent, I find. With those quests in tow, you head back to the monastery and take down Mandible. When you're at the Mandible Farming, I highly recommend inviting players into a party or joining someone's party, because you're going to find it very handy when doing these quests, being able to just jump right back to the person that's in your party. Now, things are about to get a little bit more complicated. So, you've got some contract of Nulgath. Well, eventually, you're going to hit the cap, and you won't be able to carry any more contract of Nulgath. You have two options, one of which is to sell them, and another is to use it for something else. And that is what we're going to do. If you have a stacked amount of contracts, go into your Adventures menu, go down to World Areas, down to Fiend Lands, and then you go to the Runes of Solace. In this location, interact with Skew. Of course, if you have the Skew pet, you could just do it right through the Skew pet. You're going to go into Dark Deals. And in here, you've got several options of something you can do to use your contract. Again, that's if you're not selling your contract. This is a great way of getting Diamond of Nulgath, but you're going to need the Contract of Nulgath and 13 Dark Crystal Shards. If you find that you don't have a lot of Dark Crystal Shards, but you have a lot of Tainted Gems, you've got another option before using this method. You can use a Tainted Deal quest. You're also going to need a Contract of Nulgath, but then you'd need 150 Tainted Gems, which you might find easier to get than the Dark Crystal Shards. So then you would be turning them in for Dark Crystal Shards. Now, if you have a stacked amount of contracts, that means you have 2 contracts, so you would still be able to do the Dark Deal, which would get you a Diamond of Nulgath. And this is how I've been farming Diamonds of Nulgath, by the way. I've just been using the Mandible thing, turning these in, and making sure to acquire either the Tainted Deal or the Dark Deal. This is the 2 options that I've been doing here to get myself the Diamond of Nulgath that I need. When you're done converting, jump back to your party member, or you can go down to the monastery. But again, doing it this method, you might be put into another instance, not the one that you were previously in. That's why I encourage you to join up with other people when you're farming Mandible. To get to the upcoming pets that I want to mention next, you're going to be traveling to the Forge of the Forlorn. And the reason why is because you're going to have direct access to the Throne of Nulgath. And this is the fastest way of getting to the Throne of Nulgath. I will also mention this location comes in really handy when you're wanting to farm items in this anvil over there. But our destination is the Throne of Nulgath. Now, there are other pets that you can obtain in here as well, like the Juggernaut stuff. You've got the Overfiend, the Nulgath, the Oblivion Blade. This all gets into more complicated stuff, so I'm going to deal with that in another video. The ones I'm focusing on in this one is these ones, because these ones are not that difficult to get if you're farming the Mandible method that I already showed, as well as the next method that I will also be showing you. So you've got 4 different pet options right here, and I'm sure you're asking, which pet should I get first? And that would depend on what each pet here provides, and that's what I'm going to mention right now. The first pet you should get is this one right here, the Oblivion Servant. The Oblivion Servant gives you the Totem of Nulgath, and this is one of the few methods of getting the Totem of Nulgath, which is easy to obtain because you can get this by farming Mandible. The next pet to get would be the Infernal Fiend Servant. And the reason why is there's 3 different quests that you can grab right here and then farm these. So you'd be getting Tainted Gems from that, you'd be getting Essence of Nulgath from that, and then you'd be getting the Diamond Shards from that. All of these can be dropped by Mandible, so this is why I would go for this. For the last two pets, you have Malachi or the Dread Fiend. Now, I don't have either one of these just yet. I was actually going to hold off on making this video until I had them, but decided to make it early. So the Malachi pet is the one that I would go for because it farms soul gems, and you can also get contracts of Nulgath from it, which I don't find very useful. This one here gives you vouchers and essence of Nulgath, both of which come in handy, but between the two of them, I would probably be using the soul gems more over top of those. Although I would found the voucher from the Dread Fiend is more handy. So it's really comes down to which you want more, the voucher or the soul gems. Back at the Mandible Farm, you're going to have more pets now that have quests that you can now turn in, and this can come in pretty handy. The downside is you are going to be swapping between pets when farming. For instance, this quest might complete. So I've got a quest here I need to turn in, and then perhaps my other pet has a quest I need to turn in, so you're swapping to that pet so you can turn it in, and it can get a little bit irritating having to switch between pets constantly, but you do kind of get used to it. You might find yourself being a little bit confused as to what quest has been done. You might see it pop up, but it's too fast. Go into your quest log right here, and then you can see what it is that turned in, so you'll be able to find what quest you need to turn in. It's a little bit more helpful. So with multiple pets at your side and multiple quests to turn in, Mandible is a great farm. If you're lucky enough, you might find people in the game willing to party up and fight Mandible. But the best option at finding a party is in my Discord server, the AE Federation. The link to my Discord server is in the description below, and once you're in the AE Federation, you've got the Get Roles channel. In there, you're going to be finding a role called the Nulgath Farmer, and it's this one right here. So I would highly recommend grabbing this if you're wanting to team up and fight Mandible or other Nulgath related monsters. I'll quickly mention, if you are a rare farmer, if you like to hunt for rare items in AQ3D, you can also grab this one right here. Also, if you just like to help people in general in AQ3D, then the helper role might come in handy. Most important role, however, that I will mention is this one. This is for giveaways or other events and things that are going on within our AE games. But what we are looking for is the AQ3D help channel, and this is where you're going to be tagging the Nulgath farmer when you are farming Mandible. So what you do is basically this format right here. You post the Nulgath farmer, which is going to tag everybody else that has that role, and then you post that you're farming whatever monster it is that you're farming. So this individual is farming for Mandible, this is the summon code that they have, and this is the server that they are on. This video has gone way longer than I thought, so I'm going to do a part 2 explaining the second method that I use when farming Nulgath. I'm curious to know how many people made it this far into the video, so if you have made it this far into the video, post the secret word ball into the comments below. Thanks for watching, we'll see you guys in part 2.